Hello, virtual Monsterama. My name is Darin M. Bush, sometimes known as the Professor, and you have joined us for the Zeroversary movie watch party. The theme this year is Inhuman Armies, and this is the before panel. I'll get into some of the details of what all of that silliness means in just a second, but first, I want to let our fabulous panelists introduce them to you, and I'm going to start over. Oh, I got it right that time. I'll start over here with the lovely and talented Ellie Rain. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Ellie. I am an award-winning fantasy author. My books are the Necrosine Chronicles. Here, and here. I get directions now.
We'll edit that out in post. No, we won't. All right, and so our next contestant on this silly game is Kyle Mitchell. Kyle, introduce yourself to the Monsterama folks.
Hey, everybody. I'm Kyle Mitchell, a poet, writer, fan of lots of cool stuff out there. I've a longtime Atlanta con goer and a proud member of the Dead Pirates of Sci-Fi fandom that runs the green rooms and con suites at a lot of those cons. And yeah.
Excellent, thank you. And Sarah, if you'll introduce yourself to our Monsterama folks.
Hello, I'm Sarah J. Sover. I am the author of the Fractured Fae series from Falstaff Books, also of Double Crossing the Bridge, which is a comedic fantasy, and my books are chock full of monsters and creeps and all kinds of things like that, so I love doing this stuff.
Excellent. And again, I'm Darin M. Bush, sometimes known as the Professor. In this context, I am the track director for what we're calling virtual programming this year, which is just a hodgepodge of all your favorite sort of Monsterama topics coming to you through the YouTubes as we celebrate Monsterama Jr. this year in 2022. And so the other thing I should say about myself is I am a science fiction and fantasy author. I'm also recently the founder and executive producer of a science fiction YouTube channel called Tables of Content. We're out there on the YouTubes now, just getting started. Anyway, so let's get into the real reason why people are watching this video. Is that this is, as I said before, the Zeroversary movie watch party. This year's theme for Monsterama is Inhuman Armies, and this is the before panel. What we're going to do, if you're new to this, is we're going to talk about, without having done any homework, the four of us are going to talk about 3 movies that have anniversaries this year ending in 0 that I believe Monsterama fans would know or enjoy. What we're going to do is the 4 of us are going to talk about them, having done no prep. We're going to go off and we're going to watch these movies, and then we're going to come back later and do another panel in which we figure out how many mistakes we made when we're talking about the panels during this time. So the other thing I should explain probably is that we are not going to tell everybody what all of the movies are until the end, basically. So part of the fun here is watching some of the panelists realize what movies I'm going to make them watch. That's always part of the fun, not just for me, but for you guys, I hope, as well. So let's do this. Let's start with, oh gosh, what movie should I start with? All right, so what we're going to do is the first Zeroversary movie we're going to talk about is 1962's Day of the Triffids, which is 60 years old this year. If you're not familiar with Day of the Triffids, you are wrong. You need to read the book. You need to see the movies. This is the 1962 version. And so what I want to do is I want to start with, let's just check in with the class here. Has anybody seen this movie?
No.
I'm going to go like this because I think I've seen it, but I'm not sure. Again, did not do any homework or prep on purpose. I think I've seen it. I'm not sure if I have. It's been a while.
Can we at least Google what a triffid is? What the heck is
Yeah, what is that?
Well, now, if
I at least know that just from a previous panel that I've been on with
but
the
Sarah brings up a good point. So point of order, Sarah, if you can maintain your professional demeanor that we're all used to while you're Googling off on the side, you go right ahead. But I want to call a flag on the play if we can. There you go. She's leaning into Google there. Okay, so let's. Kyle has brought up an interesting point, which is show of hands if you know what a triffid is at this point in the process. Interesting. Okay, Okay, Sarah, I think we might have caught you Googling. It was subtle. There was a subtle moment there where I think we caught you Googling. So what the funny thing is some of you might be going, okay, the men knew, but the women didn't. What's going on? I'm like, no, it's the old people knew and the young people didn't know is what it looked like to me. No offense, Kyle.
Yes.
We've covered this before. This isn't new territory. So a Triffid, right, so basically, and I'm not really giving anything away. This is like on the movie poster stuff. Triffids are, depending on which prop master you ask, are 5, 6, 7 foot tall plants that can walk, which is okay, except one of the things that they do is they have this thing that they spit at human beings and kill them. So it isn't just that they can walk around and that's interesting, it's that they can walk around and kill us and then they eat us.
So kind of like the Mario spitty thing.
Oh, yes, the
they move.
Venus flytrap things.
I blanked on the name. They go like this, right? They basically they look like a plant swallowed Pac-Man is what those things look like to me.
Okay.
I don't know, whatever. But yes, there have been. This is one of those movies where people go, wait, 1962. Yeah, this book, The Day of the Triffids, and this movie, and some of the other production versions of this book, have absolutely inspired just dozens and dozens of works where the plants were smarter than the people, or the plants got up and walked around, or the plants ate the people, or whatever. I hate to refer to this because I think it's a terrible movie, but Shyamalan's The Happening might have been inspired by this, because for those of you who blanked it out due to emotional trauma, it's the one where the trees tried to kill us and almost did. So yeah, there's been a lot of stuff since the book.
That's the one with the pollen, right?
The plants are coming. I'm sorry, Ellie, what?
Was that the one with the pollen stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's where the trees got upset at us and changed their pollen and we started breathing in.
Yeah, I almost forgot about it.
Because
I tried.
Yeah.
Fortunately, if you Google Day of the Triffids enough, it'll refer to that movie also. It's unfortunate circumstance. Anyway,
I'm just sitting over here singing Little Shop of Horrors.
Right.
A mean green mother from outer space that eats people. The only thing missing from the Triffids is they didn't sing. But yes, Audrey is
not going to watch it then.
Yep. That's kills me.
I'm out. Sorry.
You're out because they don't sing? I forgot who I was talking to. Okay. The special effects are goofy.
I'm back in.
They get you back.
I'm back.
I mean, it's 1962, of course. Anyway, so yeah, so this is a fabulous book. The reason it's part of the theme of Inhuman Armies is because one of the things that's really cool about the book is, was it an invasion or was it an accident? Were they there on purpose and they were trying to eat us, or were they just happened to show up and they like to eat us? I mean, it's all of that. All of that is a very interesting conversation about what really happens in this movie, or in the book and the movie. Kyle, what do you remember?
I've seen stills of the creatures, and I keep wanting to call them like swamp things or something, from outer space or something, but they're not anywhere near as sexy and muscular as Swamp Thing. But it's
there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Very good.
They're not superhero material quite that I remember.
No,
that kind of shambling, right? Almost like what is the D&D tree thing?
The shambling mound,
like a shambling mound. It almost reminds me of that kind of a little bit, but more tall and skinny. I don't know.
I always thought of
these are more things. I'm just giving our audience fodder for things that will be wrong, and I will get comments in the comments.
Yes. If you're
it's a trick to get engagement.
Yeah. Did you guys bring all of your bad theories with you? Yeah, of course we did. Because it's us. You guys should know this by now. If you're expecting the Triffids to like pick up Adrienne Barbeau and carry her off into the swamp, no, that's not this movie. If they ran into Adrienne Barbeau, they would kill her and eat her right there on camera. They would not mess around with dragging her back somewhere else. They're plants. Boy, we really got off topic there. Anyway, so yes, somebody's opinion of the Swamp Thing theory I could hear in the background there. So
yeah.
So Ellie, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Any idea about the Triffids before we brought it up just now? Any memory of Nope. And I think
Nope,
Sarah
not a
was pretty
clue.
clear.
I was kind of imagining something fluffy and tiny. So not what I imagined based off of the name.
Well,
like
maybe next year we can do the sequel, The Trouble with Triffids.
that's exactly what I was. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's probably what. It's so close to Tribbles. It's like,
No, it is. It is. These came first. So, all right. So Sarah,
And this is why we don't have a Triffid cinematic universe.
oh my goodness gracious. Although I have to admit, my wife, who is a master gardener, I put her on yellow alert to pick up in her little traveling, that if she ever finds a plant that looks anything like a Triffid, I want it for the backyard, just so I can go, we got a Triffid. Because every time
I was gonna ask what her opinion was of these movies.
Of the Triffids?
With all the killer plant movies.
I will ask her. Now, I will say at this point that she has done 2 panels about monster gardens and killer plants at Monsterama, and we got a lot more turnout than I predicted, and people have asked her to do a 3rd panel. So we are working on doing that doing a virtual Monsterama 22 panel and doing a 3rd kind of killer plants, monster plants panel. So yeah, Triffids also were one of the combatants in last year's late night nerd fight where we did killer plants. The really funny thing about all of this is that Little Shop of Horrors was the theme 2 years ago, so I'm constantly behind on the killer plants thing, but whatever, it's fun anyway. We're gonna do it.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said they shoot something out. Do you, like are you talking about like acid spit or like a part of their anatomy, like the stamen comes out and like I'm having trouble picturing what they are shooting out. Is it like
maybe it's
digestive juice that like breaks down?
Maybe it's pollen and they prey off of your allergies.
I am so.
Oh God, if it's pollen, are they inseminating people or are they just eating them?
Okay, I'm really tempted not to answer that question, but Sarah knows where I live, so I'm under threat of danger. I'm going to answer the question, which is that they actually shoot out a physical disc of vegetable matter that's like hardened, right? And it basically, they don't really have mouths, but they kind of spit out this disc and it hits you in the neck and it just everything. I know, which is kind of disappointing considering the 3 or 4 things you guys thought of. But yeah, they go and then your neck explodes and then you die.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. Yes, it is very weird. It is very weird, especially when it could have been allergens or pollen. They could have poisoned us or
they could have been angels' trumpets and just, forced themselves down your throat and boom, dead. Asphyxiation. Done.
I'm pretty sure that's a movie, but
if it isn't, it better be now.
Don't steal her $1 million idea.
Yeah.
No, we have a neighbor who has angel's trumpet bushes outside. I don't think she knows what they are.
We actually do in the backyard. We actually do have several carnivorous plants. Nothing like Triffids. I mean, like real. They're not even a danger to my small dogs. Oh yeah, thanks, Ellie.
Only your enemies.
if you're about this big, they're scary. But other than that, they're just like, oh. Okay, so did we cover all of the stuff we were going to cover for the Triffids? Sarah, are we good to go here? Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure I'll have notes afterwards in the after panel.
Yes, that's what we're hoping for.
I'm already taking mental notes for a chlorophyll joke for the after panel.
Yes. Something
I brought a notepad, but no pen.
Something about taking. Anyways, there's a photosynthesis joke in there somewhere. I can't get it to work right now. Right. But what I do want to tell everybody before we go on to the next movie is that the book is really, really good and it's amazing. Right? Just ask Bill Rich; he'll tell you that's a great book, and I agree with him. It's a great book. So I'm going to suggest if you have time, read the book, then see the movie. But the movie by itself should cover the basics. All right. Excellent. So this is the part where I look at the clock and I look at my list and I go, all right, it's time for our second movie. You guys ready? No? Okay. So I'm hoping that no one will be surprised that our second movie in the Inhuman Armies theme this year is the 1972 50-year-old Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Ah,
Dun, dun,
nice.
dun.
Which
By
one
the
was
most
that?
unfortunate timing, we didn't start at the beginning of the 5-movie original Planet of the Apes series, which is really unfortunate. But we started with 2, and we almost lost some people. We came back and we did 3, and 3 was amazing. So I have no idea what to expect for the 4th one.
I
So
didn't know
I,
there were more.
there's 2 more, Ellie. Strap in. This is the 4th one, and here's the interesting thing. Here's the interesting thing, and this is something that I went, wait a minute, hold on a second. Roddy McDowall is in this one too. Spoiler, it's 50 years ago, right? There's no spoilers. Spoiler, he died at the end of the 3rd one. How is he in the 4th one? I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's part of the mystery. Okay, so who has watched this movie? Kyle, put your hand up. Okay. Who's heard of this movie? There we go. All right. And technically Kyle counts because even he can't duck the fact that he's watched it.
And I haven't heard of it.
Hasn't heard of it, but he's watched it. Okay. So again, let's, you know what? This time I'm going to pick on Sarah first. Sarah, any recollections of this movie? Any thoughts on what's coming up here?
I have a theory. You do this to torture us.
Wait.
This whole the whole panel, I feel like the more times that I sign up for this panel for you, the more Planet of the Apes I'm going to watch.
Well, I have some good news and some bad news.
Oh no. Are we all out of them? Is it the last one?
Hold on. There's one more 50-year-old Planet of the Apes. There are 4 more Planet of the Apes movies after that were made in the 21st century.
What?
You can make checks too. No. So I will say this much. Monsterama loves classic Planet of the Apes, and I completely agree with everybody who loves the Planet of the Apes. It's awesome. This is one of those moments where I get to say the book is amazing. Everyone should read the book. Best ending of a science fiction book ever. But if you guys, the panelists, want to have a moratorium on the 21st century Planet of the Apes movies, I will be okay with that. But we got to get through the 5. So I'm sorry. I know, Sarah, it's mixed results there, good and bad.
So
Okay,
yes, the answer is yes, you do this to torture us. Right.
Okay, so when you said theory, I went, wait, who hasn't figured this out yet? In my defense, I watched these movies too. So anyway, all right. So Ellie, let me ask you, any recollection of this movie? Any thoughts about having seen some of the series, what we're getting into here?
I thought there were just 3. I just thought there were 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Okay.
So what I will do is I will say that if you're sitting here going, what are they talking about? This is the 3rd of the classic Planet of the Apes movies that this gang basically has covered in 2 previous panels for Monsterama. So please go back to Monsterama's YouTube channel, watch those 2 panels, and you could see us build up to through number 2, through number 3, and then we'll get into number 4 here. Because at some point we've got to edit those pieces together and see how the whole series plays out for this group. So Kyle, I own it, and ever since we started having this conversation, I was like, okay, I'm not going to watch those because I know they're going to come up again because I'm torturing Sarah. But what do you remember from this one, Kyle?
Not much. I had them on VHS, the whole original Planet of the Apes series, and I watched them in probably the year 2000 or something like that, and watched all of them in order on VHS with my buddies. And I don't remember. I think like they dress up as conquistadors or something, and they're no, that's not the right movie. Something about conquest. I was trying to think of what it possibly could be. No, I can't remember anything, honestly. It's really all a blur to me after. I mean, I remember them going in, progressing toward what you obviously saw in the very first one, but I don't remember anything about what this is, and so I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to go back and see what it's about.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because one thing that I'm ashamed to say, but I will be honest, is that when the new movies came out, I was like, this is a terrible readaptation. What are they doing? And then I found out that I was actually incorrect, that the new movies are kind of trying to do the same thing the old movies did. Where we left this at the end of the third movie was that three of the chimpanzee people had traveled back in time accidentally through the same ship that traveled forward in time, blah, blah, blah. They landed in, like, I don't know, California, I think, on the beach. And so by the end of the movie, they were outlaws, and they were running, and they'd had a baby, and they had basically guaranteed that the baby was safe, right? It's been 50 years, guys. This is not a spoiler. So the baby was saved, but the parents didn't make it. If you haven't seen this movie, it's an incredibly good movie. Even by itself, it's a really amazing movie. But anyway, so at the beginning of the fourth movie, I'm kind of guessing that we're like, the baby has grown up and the world has changed, and we're getting up to the point where what becomes the Planet of the Apes is beginning. I think that's what we're doing, is we're looping back to Charlton Heston, what Charlton Heston saw when he traveled there in the first movie. So I think you're right, Kyle. I think we're closing the circle. So
Yeah.
But the title Conquest, I'm not sure. I think that this might be another example where they put a dramatic title on to get you interested, but I'm not sure that matches what I think the story is. We will see. Okay. Anything else? Ellie, Sarah, anything else on this before we? Okay. We don't have to spend a huge amount of time on this right now if we don't want to. Kyle, did you have anything else you want to throw in, or?
No,
I do.
I think we monkeyed around enough already.
Oh. Oh boy, yeah, we can edit that out. The one thing I do want to say is, and I've heard several people say this over the years, is Roddy McDowall, awesome. I think Kelly, one of our other panelists, was like, Roddy McDowall's a treasure. I'm quoting her, I think, and she's correct. Anything Roddy McDowall is in is worth watching him work. I'm hoping the rest of the movie can keep up with him. Okay. Any parting shots on Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, Part 4, 50th anniversary? No. Okay, excellent. So, all right, here we go. Time for dessert. It is the 30th anniversary of the 1992 Evil Dead 3, or as you normal people know it, Army of Darkness. Dun, dun, dun. Bum, 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 bum.
Ooh, I've heard of that.
We could probably talk about this movie for an hour, and if we do, Suzanne can just edit us down. It's no problem. This is absolutely one of my favorite all-time horror movies. It's one of my favorite movies. I will go ahead. Disclaimer. I will say now the disclaimer is that, yeah, I definitely was thinking of Sarah when I picked this one.
I'm so excited. I've been meaning to see it. I've never actually seen it. Every time it comes across my radar, I'm like, I need to, shiny squirrel. And I forget. And so I'm so excited.
Bruce.
Yeah, same.
Bruce. All right. So good. So now that we're done having fun here, let's back up a second, which is, who has seen this movie? Really? Okay. So that, yeah, I'm still kind of surprised by that. I jokingly
keep picking us for these.
I know, right?
I honestly, considering previous comments that Sarah has made about Bruce Campbell, I just assumed she was going to go, I have seen that 170 times.
I believe I've seen little bits of it, but I've just never sat down, and I'm excited.
All right, so Monsterama, strap in, because we're going to have a lot of fun with this one, because we're just going to have a lot of fun teasing Sarah about this one for the next few minutes. This I think is Bruce Campbell's breakout movie. This is the one. This wasn't his first movie, for sure, but this is the movie that made people go, "Oh, wow, he's really good at this stuff," right? Like he's really good at it. Evil Dead 1. Okay, now this is off the top of my head. No homework, no prep. Evil Dead 1 was supposed to be a straight up horror movie. Evil Dead 2 was just a complete parody of horror movies. And then he goes into Evil Dead 3, and it just isn't even the same as the first two movies at all. It's not even an attempt to be the same movie. It's just like, let's take the same guy and just put him somewhere else and give him a gun and a car. It's a very funny movie, but if you've seen Evil Dead 2 and you're like thinking it's more of that, no, it's kind of related, but not really. So Ellie, what do you remember about this movie?
Oh, I've never seen it. I've just heard of it.
Yeah, but let me rephrase the question then. What do you know about it?
Nothing.
Really? Okay.
I've literally just heard the name.
Okay.
Have you
seen
said it
either of
was
the Evil
part of the-
Deads?
Okay, so it is part of the Evil Dead series.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen them. Just never kind of got around to it, I guess. But I think it is the favorite movie of my brother. At least the first one. I don't know about the others.
Does he have good taste?
In horror movies, yes.
Okay, yeah, because I was about to say with this group, good taste is inconsistent. We all have great taste, but we all have different great taste, which I think is very
We
funny.
like a variety in our palate.
Well, yeah, that's why I keep asking you guys back, because I love it when the three of you go, no, Darin, you're wrong about that.
Yeah, so I'm
Sarah,
thinking maybe I should just go. I think I should just go back and watch the other Evil Deads and then this one.
we're coming up on that. That's coming up real soon here. We do need to have that conversation. So, Sarah, have you seen either of the Evil Deads?
I have not. Should I watch them along with this?
Okay. Well, again, we'll get to that in just a second. What do you know about this movie other than Mr. Campbell?
Comedic horror is all I got, and I don't know how I have completely missed it, but I have.
I am really looking forward to the after panel already, and we haven't even finished the before panel. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Kyle on the spot here and see, from what you remember, Kyle, can you give us a non-spoilery synopsis, a teaser, if anybody hasn't actually seen it?
Non-spoilery. Well, so it's kind of, I mean, obviously it's an existing universe that, because you have these first two movies that you very deftly described, but it's more of a Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court kind of movie, you know.
I saw that one.
and playing on, you know, those kind of tropes of the you know, the person from the future in the past and that kind of thing. And when you said that the theme was going to be Inhuman Armies, and I was thinking, okay, years that end in 2, like 2022, I was like, I bet Army of Darkness was 92, and it was. That was the only one that I guessed that was going to be on the list. And so you get Bruce Campbell as Ash, and you know, from the Evil Dead movies, but not having the same, you know, having to figure out things in medieval times, basically, and all the humor and you know, camp that you can come up with from there. So I remember really loving it, and it's like you're given the beauty of the Evil Dead movies, especially the first, the Evil Dead, and then Dead by Dawn, is that they were shot on like no budget. So Sam Raimi did all kinds of the crazy cool stuff, you know, with these people, and they like risked like lots of lawsuits and liability and everything in the making of the films. Then you give him a big budget for Army of Darkness, and imagine what you can do. And so, yeah.
Is it King Arthur?
What?
Is it King Arthur?
I mean,
you said
no.
Okay.
Not exactly.
I don't remember there being any names that sounded like they were historically accurate. I think he just made everything up off the top of his head, which that wasn't the point.
Right.
One of the things that I love about Army of Darkness is that he still made that larger budget look like he did it with a small budget.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I do not mean that in a bad way. So in Evil Dead 1, he relied heavily on Bruce Campbell, because Bruce Campbell is just an awesome, like, he's almost a stuntman in and of himself. Does a lot of his own stunts. He's just physically amazing. He's Bruce Campbell. In Evil Dead 2, there's that famous bit where he beat himself up on camera, right? Which is all him acting. It was amazing. In Evil Dead 3, I just called it Evil Dead 3 again. In Army of Darkness, Raimi didn't go, well, we have money, Bruce, so you can relax. He and Bruce went, no, we're going to keep doing the exact same thing. And Bruce beat himself up again.
I'm so
Right?
excited.
I'm not giving anything away, but there's this one part in the movie that's really funny, and everybody who's seen it will know exactly what I'm talking about, where he is, I hope I'm not giving away too much here, but the book has bitten his hand, and the book is hitting him in the face with itself, which means he's hitting himself in the face with a prop on camera. Bruce Campbell, everybody. Bruce Campbell, everybody.
Yes.
I like.
Yes.
Like
if you loved him in Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, again beating himself up.
Who was he there?
He's the hot dog cart guy.
beating himself up.
Which I don't know if it's a foreshadowing to Condiment. Is it Condiment Man? There's a Marvel superhero that's known as Condiment. Really? Condiment King? Is it Condiment King? I'm gonna get more comments. I'm thinking that's what that was a setup for, but I don't know.
I'm thinking we went a little off topic there, but you may be right, Kyle. I mean,
they can be edited out again.
Yeah, but Bruce Campbell is in a gazillion movies for about a minute. Like, he's in every movie Sam Raimi's ever done. He's in every Sam Raimi movie somewhere. I mean, he and Sam Raimi have been buddies for a long time, and they do great work together. I think it's amazing. So I want to really quickly, before we go on to the next part of this, is I want to say that Roger Ebert is a name that has upset people recently because of his opinion of video games, which is not really relevant to this topic. But back in the mid 90s or early 90s, he wrote my favorite movie review of all time from anyone, and it was about Evil Dead 2. And at the time, I was like, okay, Roger Ebert gets what's going on here. This is very cool. Because there's this moment in Evil Dead 2 where, and again, this is all because of limited budget, right? So monster cam, because they can't afford an actual monster. So the camera is chasing Bruce Campbell through the cabin, and it bursts through a door, and it goes right out back on the front porch, I guess. And it stops because it doesn't see where Ash went. And you hear the monster go, "Rrr," and then it turns around. Bruce was hiding behind the door, and he locked the door behind it when it went outside. Roger Ebert said that scene sums up the entirety of what Raimi was trying to do with this movie, and he's correct. It's a beautiful, brilliant scene that was very inexpensive to film, but that sort of mentality and that comedy, physical and otherwise, goes right into Army of Darkness. Like, they don't pull any punches, they don't change anything. He's still an idiot. He still has a gun that somehow has an infinite number of bullets. The chainsaw does not run out of gas. What? So Kyle, you've seen Evil Dead 1 and 2?
Mm-hmm. I think I've seen every single Evil Dead movie. The remake a few years back. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's back up a second. The first Evil Dead movie, is it a straight horror movie?
Yeah, mostly. So it doesn't have the same kind of comedy and slapstick that Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn picked up and really ran with.
Mm-hmm.
It starts off as a kind of Lovecraftian cabin in the woods, literally horror movie.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure Joss Whedon was a fan of all of these movies, because the movie Cabin in the Woods, it's like, yeah, it's so obvious that he's taking from that also.
That I've seen.
Yes. Cabin in the Woods, as a trope, I don't know exactly where it started, but absolutely he was playing with that trope, because it literally is, we got in my car and the four of us went to a cabin in the woods, and three of us got killed by demons immediately, and I had my, whatever. So the first one was mostly serious, but the second one is so ridiculous from top to bottom. Doesn't have a serious bone in its body, and I love that.
And it was, Evil Dead 2 was basically the transition of a nobody, an average person, into a hero, but small time hero in just the cabin in the woods, basically surviving that night. Then you get into Army of Darkness, and it's like he becomes this legend superhero and playing up his arrogance and ego and all that kind of stuff into to this hero, because at that point, he did have a cult following, and with the first two movies. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, there are several moments in not just Evil Dead 2, but also in Army of Darkness where I'd swear Bruce was talking to the camera, not the monster or not the whatever, not the primitive screwheads, but to us. He breaks the fourth wall a few times. There's some really, really ridiculous references in this movie, not just to itself, but to other movies. It's so much fun. Okay, so before I move on to the next part of this, Ellie, Sarah, any comments or questions for us about what we're getting ourselves into here?
Can we sacrifice the Triffids and the apes and just watch all Evil Dead? Because this sounds fantastic.
I mean, I'm gonna watch all three of them anyway. So
and that perfectly segues into the question that we've attempted to ask and answer about 8 times, but I want to really actually address it for the Monsterama audience, not just for my victims. I mean, panelists. In all seriousness, should you watch the first and the second Evil Dead before you go into Army of Darkness? My opinion is you can skip the first one, watch the second one, but Army of Darkness doesn't really make a lot of sense if you've missed the second Evil Dead. Kyle, what do you think?
I totally agree. Yes.
Really? Okay, you're not supposed. You're not supposed to agree with me. So
I'm watching them all.
He needs a foil.
I would. If you haven't seen any of them, I would watch them in order if you can. But I totally agree with you, Darin. You could see it. So Army of Darkness picks up literally where Dead by Dawn left off. So it's more important that it makes sense. But it also does that kind of recap thing at the beginning, a little bit where oh, this happened to me and I did this and now I wound up here, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that, but it'd be more fun if you watch all three.
Okay. It sounds like Ellie and Sarah have already decided they're going to watch all 3, which I'm totally okay with. I actually am definitely going to go back and watch all 3. I've seen Evil Dead dozens and dozens of times. I don't think I've made it all the way through the first Evil Dead, which is something I need to correct, obviously, because it's Bruce. So Ellie, Sarah, am I right about that? You guys are going to watch all 3 of these?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the answer to Sarah's question is no. We're going to do Apes and Triffids also. Yeah.
And maybe watch the old Clash of the Titans movie for some of the level of special effects that you might see in Army of Darkness. I kid.
Oh, Ray Harryhausen.
There's some great stop motion.
Ray Harryhausen is going to send an animatronic hand to choke you.
Wasn't that? No, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of Gods of Egypt or something. Kings of Egypt? I don't remember.
The original Clash of the Titans famously tried too hard with the special effects. But no, the thing about Army of Darkness is that there are these moments where it's so obvious that the effects don't quite work, but it doesn't matter because what's happening is so funny. And there are other moments where the effects are brilliant and seamless, and you're like, what? That's wow. How did they? What? It's like I don't know. I don't know why some of the scenes look so bad and some of the scenes look so beautiful in Army of Darkness. It really is.
Nope. That's it. That's the movie. That's the movie I was thinking of. Clash of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans. Okay, yeah.
I did see
that. Harry Hamlin in a skirt and sandals, wearing almost no shirt. Yeah. Okay. What's to miss? That's awesome. Okay, so we are going to recommend that if you're going to watch Army of Darkness for the first time or the first time in a long time, that you start with Evil Dead 2. You don't have to, but yeah, I think Kyle and I are pretty strongly going to recommend Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 1 is definitely worth watching also as part of the progression. If you are sitting there yelling at the screen, what about Ash versus the Evil Dead? Yes, the TV series Ash versus the Evil Dead is a continuation of the story of Ash. And it is even bloodier and more gratuitous and more ridiculous than all 3 of these movies combined. Bruce Campbell went, all right, hold my beer. Yeah, it is. I'm trying to figure out how they got that onto a TV series. But anyway, all right, guys. Anything else on Army of Darkness or how amazing Bruce Campbell is that I might have missed? Any other comments for this one? Really? Okay. So just to sum up for everybody, if you're new to this game, is what we're going to ask you to do is watch the 1962 Day of the Triffids, the 1972 Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and the 1992 Army of Darkness with Evil Dead 2. And yeah, and I think that pretty much covers it. Any parting shots? Anything? Do we want to let Sarah have a couple minutes to talk about when she's going to run this panel and what she's going to make me watch, just for the outtakes?
We can do that?
Well,
hey, I just realized
we each get a movie. We each get a movie to show Darin that hopefully he's not seen.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Suzanne, we're going to edit this part out, right? No, in all seriousness, actually, I would at some point in the future be up for that. Maybe next year at Monsterama, we can you guys can have your revenge.
I was going to say, I just realized with these three movies, it's animal, vegetable, mineral.
Of course, the three, three elements of life.
Like the 20 questions game, you start animal, vegetable, mineral, right?
Very good. Very good. Now, okay.
Settlers?
Now, for those of you who are watching this in the future after Monsterama has actually happened and all the videos are out and all the live stuff has happened, you will look back and you will realize that I did not pick the 3 worst movies on the list. There are movies on the list this year that are much worse than any of these 3 movies. So it's not as bad as it could have been. No, I really honestly was looking for 3 movies that would fit a theme. Inhuman Armies theme popped up immediately, especially after I realized I absolutely had to do this one. And then suddenly, like about 2 hours too late, I realized that Inhuman Armies gave it away. Kyle figured it out pretty easily. So I was like, okay, got to work on the themes. But we will ask everybody to watch these 3-4 movies and join us for the after panel, which will, because of the way Monsterama Jr. is working this year, we're going to record it also, but we're going to record it later after we've had a chance to watch these movies. And other than that, I think the only thing I wanted to end the Army of Darkness conversation with is, and some of you have figured this out, is the evil book that Bruce Campbell beats himself up with is absolutely straight out of Lovecraft. It's called the Necronomicon Ex Mortis. But the funny thing is Raimi went a little too far, because if you translate that into English, it means the Book of the Dead of the Dead. Which, if that's not a hint as to what these people are doing on purpose, you're not paying attention. That's an excellent hint as to who these people are, what's going on. And the other thing I do want to say before we get out of here is, Ellie, don't forget to look out for the reference to The Day the Earth Stood Still, which is another movie that we've watched together.
Yes.
There's
in the Army of the Dead?
In Army of Darkness, there is a Day the Earth Stood Still reference. I don't know if you'll get it, but I'm hoping you'll get it. I'm hoping you guys will get it also, because it's in there.
We'll see.
All right, excellent. So what I want to do now is I want to start doing what we call paying the bills. I want you guys to give us, if you've got a parting shot about anything, and if you want to tell our Monsterama fans how they can find you on the interwebs. I'm going to start with Kyle.
If you are interested in reading my poetry, I've got 2 books out there. You can just look me up, Kyle Mitchell. One book is called Slang, and the other one is called A Dream of Christmas. And you can find me on social media at Poet Kyle.
Excellent. Any parting shots?
I'll throw another, since we have these lovely authors here with us as well, I'll throw another friend of mine, author friend of mine's name out there, Kat Scully. And I loved her Facebook post not too long ago. She got a hat and a t-shirt that says directed by Sam Raimi.
Excellent.
And I have a feeling after we watch these movies, we might all be feeling like we are directed by Sam Raimi.
Yes. When is Sarah's birthday? Anyway, so speaking of Sarah, parting shot, and how can people track you down?
You can find me at sarahjsover.com. Fairy Godmurder is available now. The re-release of Double Crossing the Bridge will be available by the time this airs. So you can pick up either one of those. I'm also putting the Fact and Fantasy from Dan Cobalt. And the only parting shot I have is that I do believe that Army of Darkness absolves you of the other 2 movies. I think. I mean, I can say I'm not 100% sure on that. I may have a different opinion when we record the after panel.
Hereby been pardoned.
But right now, as for right now, I forgive you because you're having me right or wrong, and get into a series that I've been meaning to. So,
Okay.
so I still love you.
Thank you, Sarah. I feel absolved and appreciated. And all right, Miss Pink Ears, Ellie, your turn. Parting shot. Reintroduce yourself. How can people track you down?
Again, I am Ellie Rain. I'm an author of gothic fantasy epic adventures. You can find my stuff on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or at my website at necroseam.com, necroseam.com.
Excellent. Any parting shots? It's optional.
I just
It's
want to
optional.
watch it. I can't wait to start watching. I've always wanted to
Excellent.
watch the Evil Dead movies.
I'm looking forward to Ellie's live commentary while she's watching the movies. That's part of the fun of this.
Yeah,
Well,
I need to know
screen
what
cap it
day
next time.
Ellie's watching.
Okay, so we got to screen cap it, and maybe Suzanne can like figure out a way to post them somewhere. I don't know.
We need to coordinate and watch on the same day. I want to be watching while the comments come
Okay.
in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I'm going to say that I'm still Darin M. Bush. I am the Director of Virtual Programming for Monsterama Jr. 2022. I'm also an author and the founder and executive producer of a small YouTube channel called Tables of Content. You will see some, at the moment, basically what you'll see is more of these movie watch parties up there of various kinds. Please check it out. I think that if you've hung out with us for this long, you will like the content there also. I also recommend, this doesn't usually happen, but I can confidently say that I have read all three of these panelists' stuff. It's all great. Please check it out. And this is the part where we decide whether or not we're done. I think we're done. All right, guys. So I'm looking forward to watching these movies and getting back to you. This is the part where we wave goodbye to the Monsterama audience. Thank you, folks, for being with us. Bye-bye.